So behind me here we have the latest EP-2 Boost model from Engwe that they released this year. I'm going to be basically performing a speed test in this video, a hill test, talk about the suspension, the overall build quality. Should you buy this? Should you not buy it? Are there alternatives on the market? So the first test that I done was of course the speed tests. Let's have a look at that and see how the bike got on. Okay, let's do a speed test for review purposes on the Engwe. By the way, this is fully unlocked, but of course you can only do that if your country allows it. So depending on your country, might be restricted to 20 or 25 kilometers per hour. So you need to check with the regulations. But let's see what we can get. This is a torque sensor bike, so basically the harder you pedal, the faster the bike goes. So we're at 31, 32. And just go again. Press the boost button. Boost button basically gives you more torque, so if you're going uphill, that I'll show you later in the video, it'll get you up there. So we're at 31, 32. Let me pedal even harder. Let me change the gears. Shimano gear number 7, 40 kilometers an hour, 41 kilometers an hour. Pedal as hard as possible. Fastest I can get up to is 41 kilometers per hour, and that's pedaling quite hard. So there is no ghost pedaling on this bike whatsoever, but overall it goes more than fast enough. So the next test was actually the hill test, and that's where that secret boost button comes in from Engwe. You're going to see exactly what it can do in this clip. See if you can hopefully see on the camera there. Hill is of course relatively steep, so pedal as normal without using the boost button, and let's see what it's like. Torque sensor should kick in. There you go. It's actually not too bad at all on this moderate size hill. So we're going up here no problem. The harder I pedal, of course, the faster I pick up speed. But let me just turn around and let me just do it with the boost button. So you're going to see exactly what the boost button can really do on a hill like this. I press the boost button, hold my finger down, and start to pedal. Straight away, whoa, straight away the bike just gets away from you with that addition of that torque. And it's a really great feature that I would love to see, of course, more bikes having going forward. And as far as basically, if you have a really steep hill, because you can use your feet with that boost button, you won't have any issues at all, to be honest. So that's the hill test. Okay, so let me do the no power test. So we're on basically a flat road here, and we're on the mechanical gear number 1, and we are 0 power. So we're on basically 0 electronic gear, so 0, nothing, just my legs. Absolutely no issues at all. Of course, once you come to an incline with the weight of the bike and the size of the tires, you may have a bit of an issue. So we're on mechanical gear number 2. Feels of course completely like a normal bike. So I guess that's good news. If you run out of power, you can use your feet completely normal to get you home. Something that you cannot do on a lot of electric scooters. And that's one of the bonuses, I guess you could say, about e-bikes. A lot of e-bikes. Some of them in the past unfortunately had resistance on the motors. So when you tried to pedal as normal, it made it very difficult and tiring on your legs. So it's good that a lot of e-bikes are starting to adopt basically no resistance, so you can just use your feet to get you home. Now I will do a complete breakdown of the specs at the end of the video and then give my overall opinion. But the next test was the suspension test, and I have to be honest, I was a little skeptical because there doesn't seem to be a lot of travel on the suspension on this, and I was afraid I would bottom out quite easy. But let's take a look at that and see how we get on. I have a feeling that the suspension on this is going to bottom out actually quite easy. So I'm going to bounce on it right now in a second. It doesn't look like there's a lot of travel there, but actually surprisingly, normally if you go really hard with your weight, you can bottom it out, but okay, there we go. No, okay. Even trying my hardest, I cannot actually bottom out that suspension. I'd say maybe if you were a bit of a heavier rider, if you were going extremely on a harsh ground, maybe jumping up and down curbs and I don't know, doing all these kind of young stuff that you do when you're that age, you would probably bottom it out, but it actually does an okay job. And because of those tires, you have that comfortability factor there. You have a nice, nice plenty of space here as well for your legs. So even if you're taller, your legs would have no problem. They won't hit the handlebars, even if you're just over 6 foot. So it will be comfortable for pretty much for any rider. The next test was of course a brake test. Let's have a quick look at that and see how the bike performed. When it comes to braking performance, we'll do an emergency stop now in a second and then we'll see what it's like. It does have mechanical disc brakes, non-hydraulic brakes. So let me just see what it's capable of. So we're going 32, 33 kilometers an hour nearly. So we need to come to a full stop. Oh, yeah, the brakes are actually quite good on this. Now I do want to talk about the safety. Okay, on this bike you have a front light and you have a rear light. You don't have indicators on this model. Not much of a big deal if you ask my opinion. You could, of course, if you want, you could mount another light on the very top of the handlebars there. It's entirely your choice, but it does a decent job. The good thing is as well, of course, the brakes perform quite well, as you can see. Plus you have those 20" by 4" fat tires front rear that give you of course cushioning there, but of course they have a nice thick tread as well, so that will definitely help with the stopping. Plus also in rain as well, slippery conditions, turning corners, it's definitely safe compared to some other e-bikes and e-scooters that I've had. So it gets a thumbs up from the safety aspect. Now the charging speed is a bit of a letdown with this EP-2 Boost model. It's 6.5 hours for a full charge. Don't get a full charger with the e-bike, but I think you can actually buy them now from Engwe direct. I did see them before on some other previous models, like the L20 3.0 Boost model that charges actually within 2 hours. So you'd have to just kind of research that there. But 6.5 hours is from completely empty, but of course in reality you wouldn't really drain the battery completely empty. And on that topic as well, the battery is actually removable, so you can take it out, take it upstairs into your office, into your house, and just charge it there if you want, and then just lock the bike downstairs. And on that note as well, if you are to lock this bike, just put a lock probably around this area. It's probably one of the more easier areas to get a lock around, or you could just put it at the base here as well. So there are just a few things. Plus, by the way, you actually get the back rack with this bike as standard, which is an absolute bonus. So the weight of this bike is actually 30 kilograms net weight, so it is very heavy. If I just show you quickly here, they are a little bit, in my opinion, a little bit awkward to lift. So I suppose you could put one hand here, maybe one hand here, and then maybe lift it that way. Or if you wanted, you could fold the bike. I'm not going to fold the bike at this moment because I'm suffering with really bad pain in my shoulders and my back, so I won't be doing that. But if you want, you could just collapse the bike and put it into the boot of your car. And actually another bonus as well is that the pedals on this are actually quite easily collapsible compared to the old style. But I will give you a closer look at the bike right now. So coming up on top here, of course, you have quite nice wide handlebars, fully adjustable at the front. Fully adjustable saddle is here. Saddle is very comfortable, nice cushiony feeling, plus it's vented in this area here as well. Maybe change the grips, they're not the best of quality in the world, but they do the job. The brake levers are actually really nice material. They don't feel cheap, even though they are mechanical brakes. You have standard finger bell here, LCD display, 7 Shimano gears, and then of course you have that boost button that will give you that added torque going up hills. Very comfortable up on front as well. You can, if you wanted, you can collapse your handlebars collapse them like this. By the way, if you're suffering from your steering being out of alignment, you simply loosen this screw, make sure everything is straight, and then tighten it. That's just a top tip there. The color of this is of course matte black, really nice feeling material here. Those new type of collapsible pedals that I haven't seen on Engwe bikes. Put your finger on here and then they just collapse. So actually very nice, very easy to do. Back rack as standard, back LED light, mud guards, full wrap around, will protect you more or less against the rain. 7 Shimano gears, you have a protection of course on the derailleur here, which is very nice to see. You don't want to not have one of them because it can damage this and you have big issues on your hand. Of course, this is your folding latch here. You simply pop this up, bring it out like so, and then the bike just collapses into itself. Very nice. And by the way, you cannot use this bike unless of course you have the keys. So you get 2 of these keys with this bike. So the key position on some Engwe bikes is basically, this is the lock position. So to turn on the bike, you turn it this way. You simply come up here, you hold down your on button, your display turns on, and then of course 0 means 0 power, and then you can all the way go up to gear 5 to give you that maximum power. Pretty basic display. And then of course for security measure, always take out your key, turn it, pop it out. But if you want to take out your battery, you turn the key the opposite direction, so the battery is now loose, and then this will slide out of this chamber here, and then that's it. You can bring it into your house and charge it, or your apartment, whatever the case is. Okay, so we really need to talk about the specs that's listed on the website, because I do have to mention 1 or 2 things. It's 25 km stock speed. That's basically the legal speed limit across basically all of Europe at this point in time. But you can actually unlock this bike. Now you can only of course do this if you live in an area where it's private land or your country actually allows it. So there is videos already on YouTube on how to do this, so I'm not going to tell you how to do it. Just Google it, unlock EP-2 Boost speed, and it'll take you a few seconds. And then doing that, for me, I got this bike up to 40 kilometers an hour, which is, you know, more than enough than what you need. Now this is of course a torque sensor bike, so the harder you pedal, the faster the bike goes. And there is 0 ghost pedaling actually on this model, which means of course you will conserve that battery even more. With that top range of up to 120 kilometer range is actually quite decent on a bike like this, if you ask me. And I can't imagine you will be traveling that type of distance every single day. So if you need to travel maybe 40, 50, 60 kilometers, you won't have a problem on the bike like this because of the battery as well. And for reference, of course, the battery is lithium ion, and it's a 48 volt 13.5 amp hour battery. Of course, you have those 180mm disc rotors, but let's talk about the Newton meters. Newton meters basically means torque wise, I guess you could say. And the higher the Newton meters, the more torque the bike has, or the scooter has, the more power basically. So this has 55 Newton meters listed on the website. I find that to be extremely accurate, and it's excellent for hill climbing. But of course, just use the boost button when you come to a hill, and you can really push that torque, push with your feet. So from hill climbing, it's absolutely excellent. And well, what is my conclusion of the EP-2 Boost model? Some of the names are very similar. My opinion would be, at the time of recording this video in Europe, this bike is €1,099, and I think for basically the fact you can unlock the speed if you want, you have good tires, good safety features, good braking ability, fantastic torque, that boost button, height adjustable, is suitable for anybody. If you're a delivery driver that needs an e-bike, this will definitely be one to consider. There is a lot of limited supply happening right now across the world, the way things are. So I'm not sure if these are in stock at the time of recording this video, or if they're not in stock. I'm not sure. You'll just have to double check with that official link that's in the description. Always use the official links, just as a word of advice, in my opinion, because at least you have a comeback. Plus you get, of course, warranties and everything else with the official companies. So that's pretty much it. If you have enjoyed this video, give it a like, subscribe, and I'll talk to you in the next video.